Morning, Coffee Chat friend. This morning I wanted to say a few words on my thoughts on this thing called living in the moment. Perhaps this is important because of the time of year, but it's always important, I would say. But in times like this where there's celebrations and festivities and getting together with people, surely it's beneficial that we enjoy the moment, because otherwise things will pass us by. There's so much to be enjoyed in festive activities that why not enjoy it as best we can, right? But I'm going to just ramble on a little bit about my thoughts about the moment. And the first thing I'm going to say is the moment is something that's kind of hard to identify, because it's not a thing like my pen that I can show you. And in reality, if we think about it, this concept of the moment, in terms of our experience anyways, contains the past and contains the future. Of course it contains the present too, because it's the moment. Why would I say that? Well, because everything that we do in reference to the past and the future is done in the moment. We can only operate from where we are and where we are. And we're always in this moment. See it, it's gone, etc. It's always a moving target, but it's where we are. And when we think about the past and take lessons from the past, whatever, we're doing that from the present, from the present moment. And when we plan for the future or make decisions about what we're going to do tomorrow, we're doing that now in the present moment. So therefore it's all encompassing. There is no present moment in exclusion of past and future. It's whatever we do in reference to either has to be done in the moment. We can't project ourselves, that I know anyway, into the future and mess around with things there, or we can't go back in time and do something in the past. We're only ever operating from the present moment, and therefore it contains all of that. Now, what is this present moment? What was the results of being in the present moment? Well, one of the abilities then is paying attention. We've often noticed that when we go off on a tangent of dreaming about the past, even though we're doing it in the present moment, when we go off there in our constructive mind, or we go off into our mental mind, when we're supposed to be doing something else, when we're doing multiple things, we're paying attention to setting up the Christmas tree, and I'm thinking about next year's tasks about building something. Well, yes, that's all being done in the moment, but I'm either paying attention to one thing or I'm not. So it's really not so much about the moment as it is more about what am I paying attention to. But the closer we can bring ourselves to paying attention to the task at hand, the more close we would be in terms of our typical sense of what we mean by living in the moment, I would say. So it results in being more effective, I would say. And how can we do this? How can we be more effective? How can we help ourselves to be more effective? Well, one thing that we could do is we could help ourselves to be more organized. Because there's an old concept like you either organize or your life will be organized for you. I mean, we either involve ourselves in the control of ourselves, or those controls will be imposed upon us by laws of nature or other people's agendas or whatever, right? Now, there was a book that was written a few years ago which I read and didn't spend a lot of time on, but I really like the ideas that are presented in there because of their simplicity and their importance, I would say. It was called the 4-Hour Work Week by a guy named Tim Ferriss. Ferriss, I believe is the spelling. And the reason I like that is because he used this mostly for business things, but he made the point that it's important to organize, because when we say to ourselves, for this hour or this morning or whatever it is, I'm going to be doing this, then we can easily mentally and even actively put other things out. And when we clear our mind down to a single task or a single project or whatever it is, we're able to put our attention on that. And it seems like it's a more of a momentary attention. It's like we're present to what it is that we're doing. It's not really to do with the moment, because the job might be planning for 2015. What are we going to do, our benchmarks and so on. So that would, we might think that's living in the future, but it's not. It's living in the moment, but it's paying attention to the task at hand. And so I would recommend that book because it was I think it was well written, and it had a lot of really good points and a lot of good strategies on how we could actually do that. You'll also notice, I'm sure that, and I have noticed this before, that when we're able to do this, and there's times in our lives when we do, we focus on one thing. It's a craft we're doing or a job we're doing, whatever, and we're able to somehow just forget about the other things. It's almost like the moment comes to us in a way, because everything else, time kind of almost disappears. The concept of worrying about time, and we're just focused on it. It's pure enjoyment then. We're just focused on that. So finally, I asked the question, what is the value in terms of, remember, improving the quality of our life experience? I would say that the value is that we can just be more effective in life. If we're wanting to improve the quality of our life experience, when we're more effective in what it is that we do, then that is a natural outcropping, because we get closer to the things and experiences and whatnot that we want in life. And therefore, life seems to have more of a quality for us. Living life in the moment. I would say that it's kind of a tagline that is used a lot. And to me, though, it has a lot more to do with just paying attention to what it is that's important in this moment. And one of the ways that we can do that is by organizing ourselves a little better so that we can be more effective. And when we're more effective, our quality of life, if that's what we're after, has a chance to appreciate, if you will. It's great talking to you again. Hope we can talk again soon. Bye-bye for now.